Next, let's test if we won the game. So now that we have scoring set up, let's go to scripts. Let's go to our game manager script. Let's have another const up here. Let's call this win points. Set this to an int, and let's set it to 2 right now, just so we can easily test it out. So on player goal entered, we want to check if we won the game. So to do that, let's have another function down here. Let's name this check win. And we're going to give it a score. And it's going to return a Boolean, whether we won or not, true or false. So if score is greater than or equal to win points, let's return true, meaning we won. And if it's not, let's just return false. So now we can simply say, if check win with the opponent's score is false, then we'll reset the ball. Otherwise, it means it's true. So we need to reset the entire game. Else reset game. So let's create a reset game. That game. We're going to say player 1 here as a Boolean. So let's do events.gameover.emit player 1, and we'll give it in there. So we need a new signal here. Let's say signal game over. And let's say player 1 as a Boolean. And here under the opponent, so if the opponent won, then the player didn't win. So this is going to be reset game false. We are also going to reset the ball. We're going to reset the player's score to 0 and the opponent's score to 0. And then if player, well, we're not there yet. So I think that'll do it. So now on opponent goal entered, we'll say if check win is false, and we'll give it the player score. So if that's false, simply reset the ball. Else reset the game and player 1 is true. Okay, let's test this out. So let's let the opponent score once, and let's let him score twice, and the score is reset. So the game is now reset. The next thing we should do is actually reset the paddles, because right now when the ball is resetting and the game is resetting, the paddles aren't. But let's make our opponent faster again. Velocity component, let's make him 120 speed. So here, just so we can see this really nicely, our opponent's paddle is here and our paddle is here, but the ball reset and our paddles didn't. So let's reset the paddles. And how do we want to handle that? I think on the player script, let's have a ready function here. So let's connect to events dot opponent player goals entered. Let's say, let's just have that connect to a reset function, and then we'll do events dot opponent goal entered, and we will also just reset our paddle from that. So let's come down here. Let's do function reset. And we basically want to reset our velocity equal to vector 2.0. So if we're moving, we will stop moving. And then we need to reset our position. So this is where our start position constant comes in. Let's say global position is equal to start position. And we need to do dot connect on these. Keep forgetting that. So we're going to do the same thing on the opponent's paddle. Right here, we're going to connect to those and the same reset function as well. So let's test that out. I moved down and my paddle reset, but then I kept moving. It's something weird happening with the ball. Looks weird. Test our opponent's paddle here. Let him sit up there, and then he's reset. Okay. Well, it's working. Yep. Paddles are reset. Let's also actually go in here and reset the velocity component's velocity as well. Just to make sure we don't have any residual movement. Okay, next up, let's create, let's add some sounds into the game. Sounds really boring right now. So to do that, we are going to use another auto load. So down here under auto loads, let's create a new script, and let's name this sfx underscore manager. Let's open that up. And this is not going to extend node. This is actually going to be an audio stream player. And so under here, we are going to keep references to all of our sounds. We're going to preload them in so we can just swap them out as we need. So let's have a player scored stream. That's going to be an audio stream. That's going to be equal to preload. And let's preload in our sounds here. So when the player scored, sound do we want? I think we want sound 1 up. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so let's have sound 1 up in there. Go ahead and copy this 4 more times. So when the opponent scores, we're going to do this. We're going to have a ball bounce. We're going to have a win stream and a lost stream. So let's delete all of these files in here and drag in the correct ones. So which one is this? Okay, I think we want that when we win. Which one is this? Okay, this is the ball bounce. Drag that in there. This one is when we have lost the game. And then this one is when they have scored. Okay. I have a couple more consts up here. Let's have a min pitch. And this is going to be equal to 0.09. And let's have a max pitch. This is going to be equal to 1.1. So let's play a sound effect. So place SFX, and we're going to give it a string. And we're going to match this string. So whenever we do play SFX, we'll add a string in there to tell it which sound effects to play. So when we say player scored, we're going to do stop. So we're going to stop whatever sound is currently playing. We're going to set the stream of the audio stream player to the player scored stream. Then we're going to come down here and make another function here. I'm going to call this randomize pitch. So this will just give us a little variation in our sound effects. It'll randomize the pitch between 0.9 and 1.1, so it won't sound exactly the same every time it's played. And that's how you can get a lot of juice and longevity out of your sound effects. Instead of having them sound the exact same time, the exact same over and over, they will sound a little bit different each and every time. So we're going to take the pitch scale and we're going to set it to randf range of min pitch, between min pitch and max pitch. So let's randomize the pitch, and then we're just going to play the stream. We're going to copy this over for all the other types of sound effects. So when the opponent scored, when the ball bounced, and win and lost. Let's name this lose. So when the opponent scored, let's play the opponent scored stream. When the ball bounces, let's play the ball bounce stream. When we win, let's play the win stream. And when we lose, let's play the lose stream. All right, so to use this auto load, let's actually go into project settings, global settings, and add the sound effects manager in here. Click close. So now we can use this in any script in our project. So the ball. Whenever we deflect off a paddle, we want to play a sound effect. Let's do SFX manager dot play SFX, and this is ball bounce. And then also, whenever the ball deflects off of the top or bottom wall, we want it to make a sound. So let's go into the ball here, and under with the rigid body 2D selected, let's do body entered. And we will also play ball bounce when we hit a wall. Do an underscore on the body because we're not using that in here. And just to double check, make sure you have contact monitor turned on and max contacts reported to 1 or higher than 0. Otherwise, this body entered signal will not be called on the rigid body 2D. All right. So we have the ball bouncing when we're in the arena. On the player, let's put underscores under these so we don't have these warnings. Let's play a sound effects here. Play sound effect. Player goal body enters, so opponent scored. And when the opponent's goal was entered, the player scored. And positioning on this matters. Make sure that you have the play sound effects before we emit this event. Otherwise, it's going to override your wind sounds when we set those up. So let's go to the game manager, and then we can set up our wind sounds. So under reset game, we have the player 1 boolean. So if player 1 is true, then we'll do sound effects manager play win. And if it's false, we'll do lose. And like I said, make sure you have, where is that in the arena? Make sure you have this SFX manager play SFX above the player goal entered emit signal. Otherwise, these sound effects are going to be overwritten by these playing. So we want these to play. So these will play first for 1 frame. Well, not even 1 frame. They'll play first, and then it'll come down to this script and it'll override that and actually play these. So that's what we want. What are we not using? I think that's it. Let's check out sound effects here. There we go. Should make a sound effect on the wall. Perfect. We scored a goal. Nice. Let's let them score a goal. Good. And let's try to win the game. Okay, we're terrible. We're terrible. And the lose sound effect went off. And why do we have 1 there? That shouldn't be. Wait, these are not working correctly. Okay, well, we won, and this reset correctly, but what was happening here? Maybe, did I score and I just didn't notice or something? Okay, now this didn't reset. To 0, 0. Let's debug this real quick. So that's all happening in the UI. It's because we're not connecting to the game over signal. So in the UI here, let's go events game over.connect to on game over. So when the game is over, do function on game over, and that takes in the player 1, but we're not going to use that. So let's put an underscore in front of it. We're not going to use it, and we will simply set our opponent text and our player text to 0 as a string. We make this a string and 0. Let's go ahead and test that. So scored, and then it resets. Okay, that's good. Hit it right to him. Okay, let's win the game on our side. Make sure the text resets. All right, and it's resetting perfectly. There we go.